to, or perhaps welcome back to Joy Unfiltered. I'm Rachel, your host, and I am so glad that you are here today. This is a space where we stop pretending that burnout is the price of success and start exploring a different way to lead, live, and actually feel good in our lives. Because here is what I believe at my core. Joy is not the reward. Joy is the strategy. And in a world that's been built on pressure, urgency, and endurance, we're doing things a little bit differently around here. We are choosing energy over exhaustion, regulation over reactivity, and connection over competition. And we're doing it in a way that's grounded in both science and perhaps a little bit of magic. So whether you are walking, driving, lifting something heavy, or just taking a breath in the middle of a busy day, you are in the right place. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about something that might just change the way you build your life, your business, your relationships, all of it. We are talking about connection, collaboration, and why trying to do this whole thing alone? Well, that's perhaps the slowest, loneliest path forward. So let me set the scene for you. Last week, I was at a fabulous small business conference in Miami, Florida. There was a room, or rooms, plural, full of really smart, driven, successful people. The kind of people who walk into a room and you can just feel it shift a little. And here's what struck me. It wasn't necessarily the strategy conversations. It certainly was not the, and what do you do, small talk. It was the energy of the room. There was this undercurrent of belief. People really looking at each other, especially the women in the room, and saying things like, I see you. I get it. You're not crazy for wanting more. And something wild happens in spaces like that. You start to expand. And not because someone handed you a blueprint or the directions of this is what you should do with your life, but because you borrowed belief. And that, my friends, is not fluffy. That's neuroscience. So let's talk about it. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for cues. Am I safe? Do I belong? Is this possible for me? Can I really do this whole networking thing? And when you surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, or even just thinking in a way that feels bigger, freer, or more expansive, your brain starts to rewrite the script a little bit. There's something called mirror neurons. These little magic messengers in your brain that fire not just when you do something, but when you see someone else do it. So when you're in a room with, let's say, women who are speaking boldly, building businesses, setting boundaries, prioritizing joy, your brain goes, oh, this is something that we do now. It normalizes it. It becomes available to you. And that is why environment is everything. You can have the best plan in the entire world, but if you're surrounded by people who question you, who doubt you, or just don't get it, you'll feel like you're swimming upstream in a river that never ends. But put yourself in a room where belief is the baseline. Now you've got current on your side. Now, let's take that one step further because it's not just about being around people, although that's part of it, but it's not just about being around people who believe in you. It's about how you see them. Are they competition or collaboration? We've been taught, especially as women, that there's only so much to go around. There are only so many seats at the table, only so many opportunities, only so much success. So sometimes we guard, sometimes we compare, and sometimes we quietly size each other up. And I get it. That conditioning runs deep. But here's the truth. That mindset, it shrinks everything. It turns rooms full of potential partners into perceived threats. And when you're in that energy, you close off. You hold back. You play small. You protect instead of expand. Now let's flip it. Same room, same women, but instead of competition, you choose collaboration. You start asking, how can we build something together? How can I support what she is doing? What will happen if we combine our strengths instead of separating from them? And let me tell you, I was able to do that very same thing. I walked into the room and I saw a woman, her name is Cheryl Raphael Whitaker, and she was speaking about joy. How amazing. Now, I could have let that throw me off my game a little bit, but you know what? I listened to her speak. I was able to celebrate her. I was able to celebrate her tagline that joy is her COO, which I love. And you know what? We had a conversation and now we're collaborating. She is going to be part of the Joy-led leadership forum that I'm having in a couple of weeks. And we are talking about doing something bigger. Stay tuned. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but we were able to expand because we were both able to collaborate. So, right? Having that, the room didn't feel so small to me. It felt electric because collaboration multiplies things. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It equals momentum. And again, not just poetic, but scientific momentum. When we collaborate, our brains release oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. The one that increases trust, reduces fear, and literally makes you feel more connected and supported. At the same time, you're getting little dopamine hits from shared wins, serotonin from feeling valued and respected. This is a neurochemical cocktail for confidence. So when people say, I just feel better when I'm around the right people, they are not making that up. They are not just imagining it. Their brain is lighting up like a joy-filled skyline. I have goosebumps all over my body right now, and here is where it even gets more powerful. Collaboration actually improves performance. There is research showing that people who feel socially connected, get this, are more creative, more resilient, and they make better decisions. Why? Because you're not operating from survival mode. You are not constantly bracing or trying to prove yourself. You are building. You are exploring. You are taking risks because you know you are not alone. And let's talk about resilience for a second. Because life will life, right? Life is going to life. Business will business. Things are going to go sideways. And when they do, your ability to stay in the game is everything. Connection is one of the strongest predictors of resilience. Let me say that again. Connection is one of the strongest predictors of resilience. Not willpower, not discipline, connection. Knowing there are people who have your back. People you can text and say, hey, today was a lot. And they don't try to fix you. They just meet you there. That regulates your nervous system. It brings you back to center more quickly. And from that place, you make better choices. You keep going. You don't spiral as far or as long. That is why joy is a strategy. Because connection fuels joy. And joy fuels consistency. And consistency, that is where everything changes. So now let's bring this back, as we always like to do, to something practical. Because I know a lot of you are listening and you're thinking, okay, Rachel, this sounds amazing, but where do I find those people? Where do I find people like Cheryl? And where do I find people like Jill and like Gina and all of the other amazing people that I spent time with last week? And you know what? That's a great question, because this does not happen by accident. You have to be intentional. You actually have to put yourself in rooms, either physical or virtual, where the energy matches where you want to go. And I'll be honest, that can feel super uncomfortable at first. I was a little bit nervous about saying yes to going to Miami and spending time with people that I didn't really know. And walking into a room full of people to network where I didn't really know anybody. Putting yourself out there is scary. Starting conversations can be nerve-wracking. But here's a reframe that I want you to take with you today. When you're networking, you're not there to impress anyone. You're there to connect. It's a big difference. One puts pressure on you to perform, and the other opens you up. So instead of thinking, what do they think about me? Try, what can I learn about her? What's her story? What lights her up? How can I support her? And watch what happens. Because people can feel that. People can feel when you are genuinely, not generally, but genuinely curious, not calculating. And that's what builds real connection. Not surface level networking, not let's just exchange cards, but actual relationships. And let's talk about something else that came up for me at this conference. And this might hit a little bit. Seeing women doing what you want to do, like I said, can bring up comparison. It did for me. That voice, honestly, when I saw Cheryl, that voice that whispers or screams in my head, she's ahead of you. She's doing it better. Who do you think you are? But that's totally normal. And here's where the shift happens. Instead of letting comparison turn into contraction, let it turn into expansion. Look at her and think, if she can do it, it's possible. If Cheryl can speak about joy on stages, so can I. Not if she can do it, there's less for me. But if she can do it, it's possible and people want to hear more about it. So that one shift, that shift changes everything. Because now Cheryl, or your Cheryl, is not there as a threat. She is evidence. The evidence of what's available, of what's working, of what's possible when you keep going. And here's the beautiful part. When you approach people from that place, they're more likely to open up, to share, to collaborate, to include you. Because collaboration isn't just about strategy, it's about energy. People collaborate with people who feel safe and expansive, not competitive and guarded. So if you want more collaboration in your life, be someone who invites it. Celebrate other people's wins. Share your ideas. Be vulnerable. Tell people when you feel scared. Be generous with your energy. And watch what comes back to you. Now, let me zoom out for just a second, because this isn't just about you and your circle. This is about a bigger shift. We are moving out of an era of individual hustle and into an era of collective power. We are moving to where community isn't just nice to have. Community is essential. Where the women who rise the most quickly or the fastest are not the ones doing it alone, but the ones building together. And this is exactly why I am so passionate about what we are creating with both the Joy Project and the Joy-led Leadership Forum. Because it's not just about learning. It's about being in the room. It's about feeling that energy. It's about borrowing that belief, building those connections, and taking that back into your own life. Because when one woman chooses joy, it changes her day. But when a community chooses joy, it changes everything. So here's what I want you to do. Simple, powerful, maybe a little bold, but reach out to someone today. Send a message. Tell them that you see them. Tell them that you appreciate what they are building. Ask how you can support them. And don't overthink it. And be vulnerable and be selfless. Connection doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. And it needs to be authentic. And if you're ready to take this deeper, to put yourself in rooms where this kind of collaboration is the norm, come join us. The Joy-led Leadership Forum is designed for exactly this: to connect, to collaborate, to expand, to celebrate each other. And even if you can't make it live, get in the room, because proximity matters. Your energy matters. And you deserve to be surrounded by people who remind you of what's possible. And before we wrap this up, you know I'm going to bring it back up and bring it back to our favorite little ripple effect. The one joyful text a day. If connection is the strategy, this is your daily practice. One message, one moment of reaching out, one spark of connection that can shift someone's entire day. So send the message, the link to sign the pledge, to let everyone else know that you are doing it as well as in the show notes. So go sign it, be part of this, send your text, and then watch what happens. Because this is how we build it. Not all at once, but one connection at a time. One collaboration at a time, one joyful choice at a time. And I promise if we do this on a consistent basis, one text at a time, we're going to change the world. We really are. Together, we are going to change the world. And if this episode resonated with you, make sure that you subscribe, follow, and please share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And remember, from my heart to yours, I really am celebrating you today and every day. So have fun, live well, enjoy.